So we talked about LightBeam entity resolution in a previous video. Now let's see how LightBeam entity resolution works. To recap, what LightBeam entity resolution does is it actually tells you the identity of the data. Most systems for the last 20 years, most data scanning tools, all they care about is what data do you have in a given data repository. What LightBeam does is it actually figures out all this data elements that's present across the different data repositories, and it actually tells you whose data do you have. That's the entity resolution part of it. Now, how does it work? As LightBeam is scanning your different data repositories, let's say it's scanning a data warehouse like Snowflake, a document repository like SharePoint. When it is scanning Snowflake, it might actually come across a social security number and an address in a way that our AI hints that these are related, and this SSN and this address is actually related. Now, LightBeam makes a note of that. Then when it is actually scanning SharePoint, it actually might detect the same address, which here is actually related to medical record number. And there's a lot of technique that goes into figuring out that this address that is present in SharePoint is actually related to the medical record number that's also present in that same document or other documents within that SharePoint. But we'll leave that topic for a different video. Now here, what you can see is that LightBeam is actually figuring out that there's SSN and address, and there's an address and medical record number. You can see that it starts creating a link between these two records that it has detected. Similarly, that medical record number was detected in ServiceNow in conjunction with the credit card. So it has now started creating a link to say, okay, this address is related here, this medical record number is related here, and this credit card is actually related here in a completely different database that you have over here. So what LightBeam is doing is actually linking these disparate elements together, and it's actually figuring out that all of these disparate elements are actually linked together, and they all belong to the same identity called John Doe. So the technique that we are using here is called reference resolution, where we are doing local resolution within a data source, which is Snowflake or SharePoint or ServiceNow or SQL Server. And then we are doing a global entity resolution, linking disparate pieces of data elements across different data repositories that you might have in your environment. So that's how LightBeam is doing global entity resolution. And again, essentially it helps you understand what data do you have about an identity across your entire data infrastructure.